Today we have a session about the CRM for Outlook. So the idea for CRM for Outlook came from the thought that everyone is using Outlook. All the people in the world are, most of them, 97% of them are using Outlook for their daily communication. And the idea was that there are many CRM companies out there. Most of them, what they do is they try to emulate Outlook within their software. But what happens is that the users go back to using Outlook because that's what they know, that's what they're used to do. And this is exactly was the thought behind the CRM for Outlook, to build the interface or to build the software in a way that you can continue working from Outlook without leaving the application, only just for a few things that you actually need to do in SAP. But the general idea is that you, salespeople, managers, service employees, and any other employee would be able to continue working from Outlook. Now, the product has been there about 6 months. So what we're going to see today is going to be different than what you're going to see in half a year. That's why we keep updating our videos and material. So it's very important to understand that this is a version that is 6 months old, and there are many things to come in the future in terms of development. So really, as I mentioned, large amount of the customers are continuing or use Outlook, and there are many things that happens within SAP, like transactions or account balances or activities and many other things that you do within SAP. And the CRM for Outlook is basically a connection that will give you the best from both worlds in Outlook. So what can you do in Outlook? You can view all the information on your customer, update it, edit. You can add new business partners, and then you can also track the conversation, see what really happened with the customer over a period of time, see who communicated something, who issued a document, who did an activity, who created a sales opportunity, and so on. We're just able to see a glance of everything we need to know about the customer, and again, without leaving Outlook. Another thing that we've added, which is fairly new, is called the My tab, which is basically an employee cockpit. So from now on, when you go into CRM, let's imagine you're a sales employee, and usually it's very hard in SAP to understand what it is that I need to do, what quotation do I need to follow up on, what service calls do I need to take care of and make sure they're closed, what phone calls do I need to do. So we created an employee cockpit inside Outlook. So when you come into the office, you know what it is that you need to do, what documents you need to take care of, and what communication you need to do as well. So of course we're going to see everything live. I'm just sharing that with you as a heads up to what we're going to see. Another thing that we can see is also all the contact details, open documents from SAP inside of Outlook, account balances. We're going to introduce the option to provide reports inside the CRM, so you're able to run your own reports. We can, in CRM for Outlook, we can create and update documents. So basically, they are automatically synced into the SAP Business One. Once you do anything in CRM, not just creating documents, but updating a business partner or doing anything else, we can we see the information automatically synced within SAP Business One. So you don't really have to wait. The idea is that you save a lot of time from trying to find the relevant information. You actually have it in front of you. You can do the entire or some of the job in Outlook, and it just saves you a lot of time and a lot of hassle from going into the SAP application and trying to do things. One more feature that existing in CRM is the ability to open SAP Business One windows from within Outlook. So basically, let's say I want to open a sales order. I can click on anything in CRM for Outlook and go directly to that record in the CRM in SAP Business One. So SAP Business One is going to open the specific sales order that you were looking for or the account balance. And in time, we're going to move into opening everything in Outlook. So really to eliminate the need to have the SAP Business One client. But that's something that is being planned and being worked on. So I want to go into the demo, and what I want you to imagine is yourself sitting in the office, and you come to the office, you open Outlook, and this is exactly what you're going to see. And let's imagine this is my Outlook, and I get some emails. So the first thing, once I get an email, the first thing I want to do is highlight it. So let's say I'm reading Stefan's email, and he's saying that he did X, Y, Z, and I want to take care of this message. Let's say he's complaining about a product that we have. So the first thing, once I highlight the email, I'm going to see two additional tabs. One is SAP, which actually shows all the information that is relevant from Stefan. And then we're also able to see the My Data, which I will talk about later. So I'm going to start with the first tab. So once I get an email, the only thing I need to do is highlight it. And then I can see that Stefan is a developer for Norm Thompson. So he's a contact person for the customer, which is Norm Thompson. And when I see that information, I can see the address. So if I open the address, I can go into the Google Maps or do a Control+Click to open the directions. I can also call the customer through Skype or through link. So for example, if I click on the telephone, you're going to see it's actually my number, and you're going to see that it asks me if I want to dial the customer from within Outlook. So again, you do not have to go anywhere else. You don't have to open a different application. We've integrated everything into the CRM. I can also see what is the account balance for the customer, what's the website, how is the customer performing in terms of sales. So what is the customer performance this year compared to last year, or this month compared to last month. And I can also see the conversion rates for some of the documents that I have in the system. So figures that are going to help me a lot when Stefan or Norm is calling me. I will be able to divert the conversation to exactly the area that I want. So for example, a question might be, what happened this year? Why did the sales reduce? Does anything happen that we should know about? So that's a kind of an example of what it means to have the information in front of you all the time. I'm also able to see in the same manner, I'm able to see what are the open documents that we have in the system. So for example, if Stefan is asking me about a sales opportunity, then I'm able from here to scroll and see that, let's say this is a sales opportunity, is still in a lead stage. So again, I can have the conversation, a much more accurate conversation on what it is that I need to do with Norm Thompson. The same goes for any other document, sales order, service call, and so on and so on. If Norm Thompson would be a vendor or a supplier, then I would see here purchasing documents, just so you know. Another thing that I want to make sure is who else talked to Stefan or to Norm, who did what. So for example, we can see that yesterday actually we had a lot of activity for Stefan. There were some invoices created, there was a payment done, and so on, just to make sure that I know what has happened, and I do not repeat myself. So I do not do things that other people have already created, or I do not mess up the communication with what other people are trying to do. Okay, another thing that is important to mention, I know all of you have your own SAP Business One, you have your own user-defined fields. In CRM for Outlook, we understood the fact that we need the option to display user-defined fields because they consist important information for you. So we also have the option to integrate user-defined fields into the view, either on the customer level, or on the contact level, or in some of the other documents. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Stefan is complaining about a product, and I want to be able to solve his problem. But again, I want to do it from within Outlook. So what I can do, I can go into the Create New, and you see that I have the option to create an activity, a service call, or a sales opportunity. So Stefan is complaining. I just want to click on the service call. And once I click on the service call, a document is going to open. it's going to put Stefan as the contact. I can change the priority here, make it medium, and I can write that Stefan has a problem with his iPhone. Okay, so I can fill in the details. For example, I can fill in the origin and so on and so on. In the future version, the remarks will have the content of the email being copied in here. Okay, just so you know. And if I have user-defined fields, I'm going to be able to add them from here. So now the only thing I need to do is just to add a service call. Once I add a service call, it's going to be added inside SAP Business One automatically. I'm just going to refresh the screen. So I'm going to go to another email and then come back. And you saw, I don't know if you noticed, but it was 6 before. And now I actually have 7 service calls. And here's the service call from today. Okay, so I can click on it. Now, what I can also do, I want to make sure that this service call is linked to the email originated it. So I want to track the conversation. I want to make sure that I have the right documentation on that service call. And what I need to do, if you see below, I need to control plus click to track or untrack. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to control click on the service call. And now you're going to see that I've tracked an email for that service call. So if I'm going to open it, you can see that the tracking option allows me to see the document, to have a quick access to the document. So if I click on it, I'm going to go into SAP, and I also see what email initiated it. And if there are a few emails tracked into the same document, I'm just going to see a few emails. I'm going to see all the communication regarding a document inside the tracking functionality. And if I want, I can just track an email by itself without a link to a document, and that is just like a follow-up in Outlook. And those trackings will be added into this list. So later on, we get another email, we see that Norm Thompson has 3 trackings that we need to take care of and see what's going on with them. Everything is clickable. So for example, if Stefan is asking us about the account balance, I'm going to click on it. It's going to open the account balance. If he's asking us about an AR invoice, then again, I can click, and it would take me to the AR invoice. And the point I'm trying to make is that we can see any relevant information that we need from CRM in SAP, and it just takes a click. You do not have to drag and drop. You do not have to do reports. You do not have to do many clicks to find what it is that you're searching for. You can just do it from within the CRM, and it would open up instantly the record that you need in SAP Business One. So the time saving that you just get by having the CRM in place is pretty enormous. There is a lot of productivity gain in that case. Okay, so that's what happens when you get an email from a customer that exists in your database. You know who he is. I will just mention that if Stefan is a contact for 2 business partners or for the same business partner in 2 different databases, it's going to be added here another button that's going to let me match the right database. So I would do the tracking and the information inside the right database. Okay, just in case for some of you that are running a few databases. So as I said, this was how to deal with an existing customers. We have a lot of scenarios. I just picked a service call. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move into another scenario, which is a lead. So let's say I get a lead coming into the company, and he sends me an email, and he's saying, let me just go into that email. He's saying, I'm interested in buying 20 licenses of B1 App. Can you send me a quote? Okay, so what I can do, I can actually see that when I get an email that is not recognized by the system, it actually tells me and asks me if this is a B1 connection or not. If this is a B1 connection, what the system is going to do if I click on it, it's going to search for the domain name, so the ending of my email, the domain inside the database. If it's going to find someone with the same domain, it's going to bring me the result in here, and it's basically bring me a result of a business partner that later I can go and add Nama as a contact information for that business partner. But this is not the case. In this case, it's actually a new lead, so I want to be able to create it in SAP Business One. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Find Another BP. And I have here the option to add a new business partner. When I add a new business partner, let's do something else. So I'm going to add the details. And it's very important to add the email. Otherwise, there's not going to be a link. It's not going to be able to display. Okay, so I'm adding that new business partner. And as I said, it's important to add the email to create the link. The link is done through the email. And I'm going to add here the contact information. And again, in here, I can add user-defined fields and remarks and any addresses and so on. Okay, so but the email is important for the purpose of showing the contact in CRM. So I'm going to click on OK. And I can see that successfully added a new business partner. So now if I go, I can refresh the system. And automatically, you're going to see Naama inside CRM for Outlook, which means it's actually existing in the database. So for example, now I can go and I can click on Nama. And when I click on Nama, what's going to happen? It's going to open the same record in SAP. So what you saw is actually an automatic sync between everything that happens in CRM into SAP Business One. And then I can just go and I can create a quotation. In the future, we're thinking of adding the ability to add a quotation and a sales order in CRM for Outlook. And now Nama mentioned that you want to purchase the B1 app. And let's say that it's 20. I'm clicking on add. And basically, I dealt with the email. So I created a business partner. And I created a quotation. And now instantly you see the quotation in here. So if someone else in the company is doing something, adding documents, adding information, you're going to see it in your Outlook instantly. So you don't have to worry about not syncing the information, not seeing the relevant information anymore, because everything is going to be here. And as I mentioned, there is no search that needs to happen in SAP Business One. We're going to see it in a second. So I get a sales quotation. Again, I can go and I can track it to the email. So when I do the tracking, then the quote And I want to show you the last bit of scenario. So we've done an existing customer that has a problem. We did a service call. We had a lead. We added him into the database. We did a quote. We tracked the quote. We did an activity. So I'm trying to really show you all the functionality that you can do. And the last thing I want to show you is I want you again to imagine you're coming into the office, you're a sales employee or a service employee, and you want to see what it is that you have to do. So you know how you go into Outlook. Today there is no easy way to manage it, maybe by notes. But in general, you come into the office, you open the My Data, which is a new tab that we added, and you can see in the upcoming what it is that we need to do step by step. So those are all the documents I need to make sure are closed and handled. I see it in the upcoming. If I get something that is done and I haven't handled it, it's in the overdue. So you can see I haven't done my job recently. So everything is in overdue. And I can also see specifically for me as a sales employee, what are my open sales quotations? So I'm the sales manager. What are my open sales orders? And for every box like that, you see the total amount. And of course, what are the AR invoices? I can also see what are my specific activities. I can see the service calls. And one of the most important things, I can see how am I performing. So I see I'm pretty well. This year I actually did higher than the last year. And I can see my conversion rate. I can see here the conversion rate on the quotations. So I'm doing pretty good, and that's something that can help a lot of salespeople out there that really want to see how they are performing, because it's very hard to figure it out from the reports. You can figure it out, but just the fact of doing the statistics is just going to take a few more minutes, and then you can have this instantly in one click. And if you're doing a different role, then you can go into the customize and make sure that you change the view to include different things. Also, we can from here create absences. Okay, so just to make sure that we can ask for the vacation that we need. And this is, again, this is fairly new. Some features are going to be added in time to come. Installation is in a matter, it's a very easy installation. So it's not a big deal. And in terms of the training, it's highly intuitive products, as you can see. There is no really things that need to be taught on how to do them. Everything is out there, and you can start using it. And also on the settings, just so you know, we've enabled different languages. We're going to add more languages with time to come. Of course, if we have partners that want to translate that to their localization. I'm going to go back into my presentation. So we've seen what it can do. And I just want to give you one testimonial that we've got, which is really a consultant that's saying that CRM for Outlook is one of the perfect tools for integrating, and the access to the data is very quick, as you saw. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate the time. As I mentioned, we're always here. You need a demo, you need a quote, you want to take advantage of the promotion. That's the time, and we are here for your questions. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye bye.